Kind of just lie on the brake line. Fucking hell, honestly, this is terrifying, mate. We're gonna be changing these ones for these ones. Please, no, 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 no. That's not good. Morning, gang. Good morning, people. The disco's back. Here she is. Looking like she's got a 3,000-ton trailer on the back of her because me being stupid, I put the springs on the wrong way. So if you do remember in one of the last disco videos, I put the springs on the wrong way. Now in my defence, I was just applying my knowledge about cars, you know, what I knew about cars, and in my experience putting springs on, you put the heavier springs or the bigger springs, or you know, or the stiffer ones on the front because of the weight of the engine. Apparently in the Land Rover it's the wrong way around. Apparently you put the stiffer springs on the back. And I think the idea behind that is that obviously because they're springs for towing, so they don't sag, which makes sense. So you put this, obviously if you have a bit, if you're trailering something and you've got stiff springs on the back, it won't look like it is now. But I put the stiff springs on the front, meaning that it looks like it is now. So what I've done was, instead of swapping them around, because I can't bother dealing with the fronts, and also I like the way it sits at the front, I've actually bought some heavy duty springs for the rear. So we're going to have heavy duty springs all the way around the Land Rover. So hopefully it should sit like this on the back. A part of me thinks it's not going to sit that high because them springs aren't made for the front. But it should sit a lot more even. Now I absolutely hate working on Land Rovers because the thing's just so high off the floor. It's an absolute nightmare to get it on jacks and jack stands. It's absolutely horrible. So it's going to take me about 20 minutes to get the back in the rear and get the rear wheels off. But today we are going to be changing the springs on the back to heavy duty ones. So hopefully it sits a lot better. Because if you've seen, the weather's getting a bit colder, there's flooding everywhere. And having one of these in weather like that, especially when it's flooding, is absolutely perfect. And I want to start getting out with the Land Rovers again. We're going out next weekend. Now, one thing we do actually need to do as well, we're going to have to change all the brake lines because now we're high as fuck, boy. And we're going to have to change the brake lines because they're probably going to, once it articulates, they might snap. But we've got a lot of things to do as well. So in the next couple of videos, we're going to be doing this with the Land Rover. So we're going to put the springs on, doing the brake lines. We've got a bit of welding to do. We've got something, we need to fit a new sump. We've got actually quite a lot to do before next weekend to the Land Rover. So I don't know how much we're going to get in today's video, but let's just see. So let's crack on. I'll see you in about 2 hours when I've finally got the back in the air. Now I've learnt the hard way with the Land Rover. And there's only one way to say, well, I don't even think the word safely jack it up works. It's never safe when you jack up a Land Rover, but you've got to get 2 jacks on the back and then you've got to lift it up so the wheels are off the air, then take the wheels off and then jack it up and put it on jack stands. If you try and put it on jack stands with the wheels on, the wheels will just touch the floor. Let me put it in gear. I absolutely hate, I'm not gonna lie, I hate working on Land Rovers when they're like lifted like this. I mean, when everything's in the air and stuff, it's not that bad, but honestly, trying to get it on jack stands and stuff, it's absolutely terrifying. And then when the wheels are just off the floor, take them off before you even think about putting it on a jack stand. And then even, honestly, you learn to be some kind of person after dealing with Land Rovers. Okay, so you're gonna put the jack stands on a high setting and make sure they're touching the frame, because when you drop this, it fucking wiggles all over the place. And just do one side at a time. So I think this was the most successful jack up I've done. I think that's because I've done it so much. So now the jack stands are there. You've got to get special jack stands, by the way, guys. Your normal ones will not do it. These are super tall ones, and when you're doing it, make sure the axle stand isn't leaning. I've done that a few times where the axle stand's like leaning over. It's scary as fuck. Now we have access to the rear axle, so we can drop the rear axle super low. Now I can't actually remember how I did this last time. I think sometimes I use spring compressors. Sometimes you can drop the axle that low if you take the shocks off, that the spring kind of does just pop out with a bit of a play. We've had some welding done here as well. I've got some patches put in and I need to redo this. I've got a bit of a hole here, solid there, it's just a bit of a hole, so I'm just going to put a patch on that. I'm going to test out my new welding skills, my new welder, and we're going to do that bit ourselves. Right, so we're going to take off the shocks from either side, and that's just going to let the axle sit all the way down. Let's drop the axle. Now you've got to be careful here because it is going to... Oh my god, I hate doing this. Okay, I hate this jack because it just jumps down like that. Okay, now you've got to be careful because the axle will kind of just lie on the brake line. Fucking hell, honestly, this is terrifying, mate. The whole car, because the weight of the axle, it starts pulling down the car. Makes the jack sounds cool. Yeah, right, okay. So, yeah, you don't want to drop it all the way because the... I'm just going to go nice and slow because it is going to be resting on the brake line. Here we go. So that's all the way down now, so... Almost. Yeah, so we got plenty of room there. In fact, the spring probably is just going to pull out there. It literally looks, yeah. Oh, well, this was easy. So we want to take these two little spring support things off. So I think they're what, 15, 17. To be fair, most things on this car are like either 13, 10 or 17 mils. If you find anything else, it's because it's been replaced by somebody else. So let's take these off. This is like the little spring retainer thing. And then we should be able to just, I can't believe how, yeah, this is great. I've done a really good job of jacking up. Normally it's an absolute nightmare trying to get these in and out. Oh, is it a knot on the... No, it's a knot on the bottom. Okay. Oh, it's doing that. I hate it when it does that thing where it goes like looser than tighten. So frustrating. We've also got a lot of oil leaks on this car. We've got one coming from the diff, one coming from the front diff, one coming from the rear diff. And what I thought was an oil filter housing is actually... Well, actually, I think the oil filter housing is leaking itself, or the oil filter. And also, we've got a cracked sump. Which Cade found, so I've actually ordered a new sump. By the way, you think parts for these cars are cheap? They're actually not. Like, Land Rover parts are actually quite expensive, which is quite, you know, interesting considering like you think these things are just like, you know, owned by like people who just want to just fucking run to the ground, but they're actually quite expensive parts for this car, I'm not gonna lie. Right, well, there's that spring, so that was simple enough, but don't forget the one we're putting in is a lot stiffer and a lot bigger. Right, this side was pretty much the same. They came off nice, just these are a 13 mil, as I've said. Right, so I've got all 6 springs here. So the blue ones are the ones that I've been given, and these are the ones that I've just took off. Now these, bear in mind, these aren't standard springs, these are aftermarket springs still. But, as you can see, the difference between the blue ones, this one and that one. Now what you would use is, you go, okay, well wait the engine, this one will go in the front. No, these ones need to go in the back. So what we're going to be taking now, these ones are still even bigger than these ones, so these ones are definitely not made for the back, so we're going to be changing these ones for these ones. There's a big difference there as well, a good couple of, there's like 2 inches different there, and what you'll find is they're a lot stiffer. Realistically, this should make a massive difference. Now hopefully we can actually just put these in like the old ones. We might have to drop the axle a little bit, or squeeze them down to there. They're massive. So what we can do there is we need to get a spring compressor, or we can just push down the axle a little bit. So I'm going to drop this jack a little bit lower and see if we can just get a little bit more just to squeeze these in without getting spring compressors. So drop the jack off and we've got a load more play. Now it's not going on the brake line. The brake line is the only thing hanging on. It's going, please stop rocking me. But we've actually got a new brake line. So funnily enough, on these you actually need to change 3 brake lines. You do the front 2, which obviously goes straight to the caliper, but on this one you've got the braided line, the line actually in the middle, and then it splits off into the copper lines here. So all you really need to do, and this one's quite pinched actually, but all you got to do is just change that one. I say that's all you got to do. I don't know if you've changed the brake line on a Land Rover before. I certainly haven't, but I definitely looked at the fittings and I would not like to do that, but we will have to do that. I'm probably going to try and do that today, but I've got a new blowtorch which I'm very excited to use for the second time. I've used it once before and it worked an absolute treat. So if we do got to heat some shit up, we'll have a fun time. So let's get these in, hopefully again. Oh, there we go, there we go. See now, look, this is what you want to be careful of. See the fluid, I've leaned on this brake line with the, it's just ruined the brake line. So that's what you know, that's what you don't want to happen. So this is the downside of dropping this low. I'm not too fussed because I've got a new brake line, I need to change it anyway, but this is what can happen. It's I don't know what's happened to the line, but it's leaking brake fluid from the top up there, so it's not ideal. We need to fix that as soon as we've got this spring on, which we're very close to doing. Okay, so the springs are on and that gap already looks way bigger. So I'm happy with that, but we need to fix this brake line. So I've got 3 inside the car. When I swapped it with Cade actually had these brake lines, so I presume he was going to do it. So I've got the 3 brake lines here. Now I'm just going to find the odd one out. Okay, no. Okay, so they're both the same. They're the fronts. So they've both got like 2. They've both got the same. This is the odd one out. So this is threaded on each side. So this is obviously going to be the back one because it's different than them 2. So let's hope. Let's hope. We've got to do this quick because I'm losing a lot of brake fluid. Let's hope that these come off nicely. So I'm going to get a wire brush and just clean up both ends. And then these realistically should just, hopefully that's split at the top and not on the actual join. There's a lot of dirt up there. It's going to be tough to see, but let's get a wire brush and have a go at this, shall we? This is something we needed to do for a while. And once these are done, peace of mind will be a lot better knowing that that isn't going to happen when I'm out on the road. Okay, so I was cleaning off and this brake line is literally either, I think it's just popped out the end. So, funny, so it's literally just pissing out of there now. So I'm going to have to get that off pretty quick. So I'm going to clean it up as best as I can. And maybe a bit of heat might help here, to be honest. Right, here is my new blowtorch. Because I'm incredibly worried about this. So let's just heat up the connections just a little bit. Okay, so it's a 15 now. There isn't any spanner to put on the bit, so I've just got a vice grip, and this is moving now. I'm going to be nice with this because brake lines are a pain. So I'm going to be nice, and it is loosening, but just take your time and just, you know, keep wedging it. I have put a bit of heat, so that has helped, but just don't just keep spinning it and loosen it, loosen, tighten it, and it'll just kind of free it away from the threads nicely inside of there. So this is moving, which is good. I'm worried about the other side because I'm hoping that obviously now the brake line is kind of wedged in there. I'm hoping that it all just doesn't spin when I loosen it off. It might not make sense now, but hoping it doesn't just spin. But this side is coming. Okay, so here is the brake line up there. I've used a bit of heat, wire brushed, and now it's nice and clean, so I can see what I need to do. So luckily, I'm pretty sure I can see like a 15mm there, spanner each side. So I can get a spanner on this one here, and then obviously get a 13mm on that one. I was worried that it was just the connection in the subframe that was stopping it from spinning. Not the subframe, but you know, the connection in this bracket. But I think I can get a 15 on there and a 13mm, and I should be able to cut it off. So I'm just going to use a little bit more heat just to help my cause. That's not good. Okay, I've got to put it out. I've almost sank a Land Rover, now I've almost set one on fire. I've literally just got burning hot brake fluid on my head as well. That was not fun. That hurts. But right, that's enough heat, I think. So it's a 15 and a 17, and it's in a really awkward position because it's like I can't lie down, but I can't sit up. So there we go. Oh my brake line. I think that's, there we go anyway. Oh my god, this is... Oh, yes. Yes. Come on. It's moving. Now this is where, yeah, the whole fucking line is moving with it though. That's the issue, because that's what happens. And then the line starts bending. So, hopefully, if it starts bending lows, we need to be careful. I thought this was... I keep getting fucking brake fluid in my eye when it splashes against the diff. Wait, hang on, can I just unthread the 17? Yeah, I can. Am I tightening that though? Hang on. No, yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, that works. Right, the line is away from the connection, so I need to whack that out and then just need to thread the new brake line into each side. The threads on this side are fine, the threads on that one were, I mean, they look okay in there. When I pulled out the line, they didn't look so nice, so let's just, as long as we get this one, at least we can clamp. Well, no, it's gonna work, it's all gonna be fine. Let's get a hammer and let's whack this thing out. Oh, here we go. Now the next fucking problem. Oh, you. I'm surprised because it is spinning. So I'm surprised it's getting stuck in there. I'm gonna put this side in first because otherwise, if I tighten that side's male and this side's male. So I need to tighten this side into this side first and then put it through that hole. So let's pray that the threads are good. I think I've gripped it there. Oh wait, no. No, I think the threads are fucked. And now I hope I've not just fucked the threads on this too. Please, no. Right, there's a local hardware shop about probably 10-minute drive from me, and they're sick. They have everything. Every time I've been, they've helped me out. So I'm actually going to go down to them. I've already rang them and asked, because I've asked for a tap and a die, but brake line joints do super fine threads. He says he's had a look in, he says he's got a die, which means I can save the brake line, but he doesn't think he has a tap. He said he's got one in stock, but he can't find it. So we're going to go down anyway and get the tap, and then worst case we can save the brake line. And then what we can do is we can actually just grind off those first couple of threads on the union, because either way that union is gonna have to go in the bin anyway. So if we can say we could be able to just grind off the first couple of threads, then once this brake line's good, we can just thread it in, and that should potentially might be fixed. Right, so they had a die. Now you have a tap and a die. A tap fixes threads like that, female threads, and a die fixes female threads, and a tap fixes male threads. Now to fully do this properly, I'd have to tap this and tap that, and it's still not the best thing because it's a brake line. Once you've kind of ruined a thread like that, it kind of there's a potential the thread leaking. So I went in there, and the die itself, one singular die to fix that tiny little bit of thread was like 45 quid, and I was just like, and everything came to like £72 with like some brake fluid and a bolt and stuff, and I was just like, I can't justify spending that because this might not work just to fix that tiny little bit of thread at the end. And then I would have had to grind down the union and then hope it threaded on and hope it sealed. It's uneconomical, it's just stupid. It costs like £18 to buy a whole set of brake lines. So for me to pay £45 to attempt to fix one tiny little thread, it just didn't make sense at all. So I was just like, I'm not cheap and I usually buy things, but that's just stupid. I can't pay 70 quid for something that costs £18, and it might not work. So I was like, I can't do that. So I bought some other stuff. So what I've done is, I'm just going to find either a new brake line or just ask a few of my mates to see if they've got an M10x1 tap. I'm sure someone will, and then I can just tap that. Or if they can't, I'll just going to order a new union, which I'm probably going to do anyway. Just order a new little 3-piece union, which means I won't need to tap that, and then just get a new brake line, and it will just go in nicely. And for the time being, so the car's not stranded, they had an M10x1 bolt, so I've got that bolt there. I can put that in the brake line, and then it will stop pissing out fluid, which means I can maneuver the car around the drive and stuff. So I've literally just messaged Tom, one of my mates, Tom, and I said, have you got an M10x1 tap and die? He goes, yeah, come get it. So thank you, Tom. No offense to that JR Webster and Ashton, that they're sick. They usually like are great, and they have helped me on so many occasions. But yeah, I can't justify paying that much. I'm glad. Imagine how much it would have been with a tap as well. It would have been like 100 quid. So we're gonna drive to Warrington real quick and get these two things, and then we should have it back on the road. At least we can give it a go without waiting for the new brake line and without spending any money. So let's go and get this from Tom. Right, we've got the huge tap and die set here. we just tapped out, dyed out this, so that's all good to go. So all we've got to do now is just tap the other union, and we should be good to go. So let's get home and let's get it back together. I want to see how high it is. Okay, we're back. So we've already dyed out this thread. So all we've got to do now is just tap out the brake union with an M10 by 1, and hopefully it will seal nicely. The end of the threads are fine, it's just the start, so it's a lot better that the end of the threads are standard. But we need an M10 by 1. This is this bad boy here. I've not got, hopefully I can undo that bolt. I'm gonna have to take it off. See the bolt there and the nut, I'm gonna have to take it off because I'm not gonna get the tool in like that, so we'll have to lift it up here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the tap tool, unthread this, find said tap that we want, just make sure it's the right one, M10 by 1, put that in there like that, and we might need the vice grips for this, so I'm gonna get them just in case. So all we want to do is simply just tap a new thread. So let's just bend them out a little bit, bend this one out a little bit, there we go. Now the idea is you want it to be straight and then just run it through. And it's getting easier now, so that says to me that I've gone through the rubbish ones. Just thread that all the way till you can, unthread it, and then I've got a bolt. The reason I got a bolt as well was to chase the thread with the bolt instead of chasing it with that, because if I chase it with the brake line it ruins it again. I'm going to tap it again. So I've got a new bolt here, meaning I can test it with the bolt, not with the brake line. So if it's going to ruin anything, it's just going to ruin the bolt, not the brake line. So that feels good to me. And also this is going to pull a lot of the dirt out as well, because it's a bit of a pain threading it in when you've got the other side of the line just wiggling around. So it's not threading in super nice, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it is. I think yeah, it's going in. Lovely, come on. Alright, so the line's on. Top one was quite tricky. I had to just keep wiggling it around and trying to get it to come away from the brake line because it wasn't spinning, it was turning the whole brake line. So I got it eventually, started wiggling. Right, we need some brake fluid. Stop up the brake fluid. Let's clean the connections with some brake cleaner, and then we need to see if it's leaking from anywhere, which, well, pray it's not leaking from anywhere. I'll give the brakes a nice pump. They're gonna feel spongy as shit. Have a look. Oh, near the end of me there. That's dry, dry. And last but not least, that's dry. Yes. Sorry, Dal. There we go, a lot of air there, see that? Oh. Up. Down. So much air coming through. Up. Down. Oh, there we go, there it comes. A lot of air. Yeah, right, up. Down. Right, the wheels are on. Let's jack it up, take the jack stands off, and pray that it's higher, please. Okay, I'm sat behind it. Let's have a look if it's higher. Yes, it is way higher. Yes, 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 yes. Why is it so dark? Yeah, buddy, that's so much better. So much better. This side of the car is, oh no, this side is slightly lower. I think that the body of the car on this side is like sitting down a little bit, and I think it might be because one of these brackets is bent here. So the body of the car is just sitting a little bit lower, but that is way better. Look at that. It's made such a difference. That is actually like pretty much the same car. I think it's a little bit bigger on the front because they're not meant to be that high in the front, but yes, it looks so much better. Oh my god, yes. Hey guys, it's Nicole. Okay, so this is the end of the video. I'm so glad we got that done with the brake line. This is the end of the video because I'm going to be having the front jacked up in the next video because we're going to be doing the sump and we're going to need to change the brake pads. We're going to do a few other things. We're going to change the front brake lines then, and yes, it looks so much better. I'm so happy. I actually thought we weren't going to have it driving today, but come on the boys, look how big it is. Yes.